talk about Nazara Technologies. The stock's been buzzing this month with nearly 30% gains. The company is on an expansion spree as well. They've interestingly acquired UK-based Curve Games for around 247 crores, while their subsidiary Fusebox Games has partnered with Banijay Rights. To discuss all of these developments, we have with us Nitish Mittersain, who's the joint MD and CEO at Nazara Technologies, joining in. Nitish, hi, morning, welcome to the show. Well, let's start with, the reason why you've purchased Curve Games, which is you've shelled out around 247 odd crores. If you look at the numbers, the revenue has actually been declining for the company in CY24, CY23. So what's the reason for that?
Sure. As you know, our stated objective has to be double down on the core gaming business that we have. And we have been expanding globally through these acquisitions of gaming studios and publishing houses. I think we found Curve very interesting because it's a very reputed firm in the PC and console publishing space. And the PC and console publishing space globally is a $100 billion business. And we also see a lot of synergies between our mobile gaming business and the PC and console gaming business. So it was very attractive for us. The valuation we got was very attractive. I think the decline you see is largely due to post-COVID normalization and a few other issues, but we believe that much of the pain is behind us. If you actually look at the EBITDA numbers and the PBT numbers, they have improved over the last 2-3 years. So we believe we've got a company that can grow well in the future and add a lot of synergies and business to us.
Right. That's a fair point because while you bought it at one-time sales, trailing sales, your EBITDA is roughly 35-40% is the margin that the company operates on. So that's a positive. But I wanted to understand what proportion of this revenue is recurring on account of the games that they have developed already, and what's the publishing pipeline that you have out here? What can this scale to?
They have a very strong back catalog and some very popular IPs such as For the King and Human Falls Flat, which have been running and monetizing for many years. So we believe there is underlying stability in the business. And on the top of it, the company, as a publisher, they are working with developers on a continuous basis. Now that Nazara has stepped in, we will accelerate that process and ensure that there's an even stronger pipeline going forward. One more big synergy is that India is seeing mushrooming large number of PC gaming developers due to the fact that Nazara is very embedded into the Indian ecosystem. We are usually in good contact and relation with all these Indian developers. And I think we can create this entire very exciting bridge between Curve partnering with Indian developers and building a strong publishing pipeline globally.
So what does this do to your blended margins, this particular acquisition?
Sorry, the overall margins?
Yes, your blended margins.
I think it's a little early to say. It'll obviously have a significant uptick on our margins, but we'll just let it play out in the next quarter or so.
And what's the scale that you're looking at here from, say, this roughly 25 million pounds outlook annually? How much can your acquisition scale this business up to?
We'd like to see the first year the business stabilize. We focus on long-term growth and take the right decisions. But I think 2-3 years out, this business should be, compounding at least at a 15-20% year-on-year kind of metric.
Okay. You also announced, before we get to that global launch of Big Brother, before we talk about that, I just wanted to understand how you, paying for this particular acquisition, what does it leave you with in terms of the balance sheet, and what might your pipeline of M&A now be?
Sure. So we're paying about 240 crores for this, 247 crores for this. It's from internal accruals that we have. Cash is a 100% cash transaction. Post this, we will have about 200 crores of cash with us. In addition to that, as you know, we had done a preferential placement of 495 crores, and we expect that money to come in the next month or so. So I think including that, we will have about 700 crores of cash on our balance sheet. We will continue to look at opportunities throughout this year and double down wherever we can, only on the gaming business, especially global gaming studios.
All right, 700 crores comes in, no real problem for cash for you. You are M&A heavy anyway. Just wanted to understand now to what Ekta was asking about, the global launch of the Big Brother. If you could give us a sense of what the revenue share here is, how does that aid your overall performance in the gaming vertical?
Sure. This is, launched through the Fusebox Studios in the UK, which we had acquired last year.
Yes.
We own 100% of that studio. They already have a very popular game in Love Island, and this is the next game that they have launched. Big Brother is a global franchise. We've also acquired rights for Bigg Boss in India, which we will launch in the next 2-3 months. So we think this should do very well for us. It's early days. The game has just launched yesterday, but early signs seem very promising. We usually pay the license holders somewhere between 15-20% of net revenues after user acquisition spends. That's a general template when we are working with third-party IPs.
So how much will it add in terms of your P&L? If you could just break it down for us.
Yeah, it's early to say because, games can take off at different scales. So it's very difficult to predict a number. But if you look at Love Island game from Fusebox, that has been generating about 200 crores a year in revenue, doing about 40-50 crores of EBITDA. We'd love to see Big Brother kind of, repeat that. But we'll have to see how it goes.
What about Bigg Boss? Because while there is a fair amount of viewership for that show,
Yes.
I'm not sure how that translates into game and net revenue for you on that. Similar is the case with Big Brother as well, because if you could, say, give us correlations between Love Island and the game in terms of viewership and the conversion to game revenue, and whether that is likely to replicate in Bigg Boss and Big Brother as well.
Big Brother, I think globally, because it's a popular franchise,
Yeah.
Love Island in the Western markets should monetize well for us. Bigg Boss obviously is a target to the Indian market. We are, having 7-8 languages that we are launching in. And India is a strategic market for us, right? We want a large user base, even if it monetizes a bit lower than the global markets. So we are okay with that, but we'll see how it goes.
Okay. What's the pipeline of more such tie-ups and how much are you willing to shell out on those?
Yes, of course. In recent times, we, for example, in Kidopia, which is another flagship product of ours, for children, we've done many IP licensing transactions, including Barbie from Mattel, etc. So we're seeing a lot of, opportunity where we can take global IP, integrate them in our games, and then launch these games globally. This monetizes well. It helps us overcome the challenges of, user acquisition, which we have discussed many times in the past. So it's a path that we are on, and I think it will pay good dividends to us.
And since we have you with us, if you could give us an overall outlook on all the verticals of your company for the next year or so.
Sure. Of course, results are due soon. So
Yes.
I won't go into specific numbers, but we have, our esports business, which continues to do fairly well. Our core gaming business with higher margins is doing well for us, and some of these acquisitions are focused on it. So I think overall, we are on a good growth track for this year.
Okay, all right. Thanks very much for joining in and giving us all of that perspective on Nazara Technologies. So big acquisition of over 200 odd crores is what they've made in the UK.